Alright, busted starter, rope hanging out like an old dog's tongue. No problem. We'll walk you through those steps and how to get that thing fixed straight up. Don't worry, this is the setup from the camera. It's all fake. But anyway, we'll get this one fixed up. I really want to know, I think these might be the same spring. This is for, a 266. It's obviously for the 288. And I think this is the same spring that we're going to find out together. Alright, we got the rope cut off and we're just going to back that screw out. I know so many people that are scared to death to take these starters apart, but don't worry, it's just a spring in there. And you give it a little wiggle, comes out. Oh, where's it's down in there. Okay. Let me just take off cover number 2. Okay, here we go. Alright. Thing is, looks like it's new. Okay, this is one from Sawzilla. Guy there on eBay sells a lot of good parts. Shout out to him. Sawzilla Wagner's, I think it's like the same. But anyway, get that matched up. I'd say that's a match. So I'd say that, yeah, 288, 268, 272 spring. That looks the same. All right, I'm gonna show you guys how to do this. You can either, kind of place it in there and kind of pull that wire off, and it'll kind of expand inside the starter, but I'm not going to do that. And I'm just going to trigger a lot of people's anxiety right now. Just like that. And it's kind of funny, when we were a kid, we used to ride the old snowmobiles, and these things used to fly out of those things, the little Skidoos and Polaris's, Articat, El Tigres, these used to break all the time. We would wind them up by hand, we try to force them in there, and our hands would get all tired, but you don't do it that way, you just do it the opposite. You just kind of put it right in there, and we'll wind it right up. So luckily we have this one as a model, so we'll just kind of copy what's going on. So first things first, we fish it in there, just like that, and we just kind of wind it up, kind of spin it around, and it goes together in a few minutes. Hold your thumb or your finger kind of on there, and you kind of just wind it around, and it goes right in. A little bit more, just kind of keep winding it in there. Just like that, you just kind of work it around in there, and it's right back in place. And that, we're listening to an old Rascal Flatts song, and that was half the song. So it's simple. So we found an OEM pulley, part number 50348-48-01. That's pretty sweet. And this one, as you saw like earlier, it was a little close to that, that bushing, that trunnion, whoever you want to call it. So we just have to bend the spring a little bit, just bend it. Just kind of squeeze it, kind of bend it. So there's a little bit of a gap there, so it'll slip past there. So, our dog will catch, kind of slip past it, and be able to push it down. And just kind of squeeze it, not squeeze it, but like press down and kind of wiggle it back and forth, and it'll kind of seat itself on there. See it's got a nice spring to it, so we're good to go. Then you could use any kind of like lubricant, like this is Lube Ball, that works pretty good. WD-40 works good. Dry graphite, that'll work good too down that spring. Anything just kind of prevent that spring from sticking, and corroding. So down in there. I got ahead of myself there. Got the little cover, that little retainer to keep the spring in there. And since we're here, we'll just we'll fish the line down through it, just to make it a little easy on ourselves. I like to heat up a screwdriver. And sometimes I like to tie a knot, and I do like to do the hitch, kind of how like the demo saws come. Some people just put the knot straight through, which is fine, but I like to do the hitch plus the knot. But we can't do the knot this time. This rope is a little too big. It's the bigger CC saw. We got to use that big rope, so we're gonna just cut that off of there, and we're just gonna melt it over. And you put a nice kind of mushroom on it with the heat, kind of melt it in there. That holds up pretty good. Shout out to Don Boy up there in Canada, kind of showed us how to do that. Okay, so now we got the screw back in there, and we got the rope put in that notch. We all didn't know what that notch is for. It's put it in there, and so you can wind it up. And you wind it up, 6-7 times or so. It works pretty good. All right, so 6 wraps did it pretty well, and this rope is pretty thick, so You only can put so much in there. If you put too much in there, you'll run into the same situation again. That thing will be hanging out like a dog's tongue. So you just kind of max out the pulley there. And that's all the rope that you can fit. You don't try to fit any more than that. Then I just kind of tie like a double overhand knot. Just like that. And tighten it up. Send it home. Send it home. And there you go. Good tension. Ready to go.